You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/inkdependence keeps this channel ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and this is the Pilot Custom Heritage 912 FA nib. This pen comes in black resin with rhodium trim, and it comes with 15 different possible nib sizes and styles. So if you'd like to see some more about those nibs, go check out the channel. I also have a video with just talking about this pen in general with more stats and comparisons. For this video though, we're focusing on the FA nib, or the Falcon nib. Now there's always a little bit of confusion with this nib and pen because there is also a pen called the Falcon that comes from Pilot, and it has a similarly flexible or soft nib option with it, but the FA nib is quite a lot different, and so we want to make sure that we don't confuse the Falcon pen with the Falcon nib, also called the FA. All right, so let's take a look at this nib. The FA nib here from Pilot comes in the number 10 nib size. This is a 14 karat gold nib with rhodium plating, and it's a real looker. It's got a little bit of ink up here. Don't worry about that. I've been dipping this pen to keep it, to keep it going because I haven't filled it. I have to return these pens to Pilot, and so I've been just kind of dipping them instead of filling them. One of the things that makes this very distinctive are these cutouts on the side here of the nib. You can see those two notches on either side. It looks like somebody just sort of took a hole punch and just kind of went ka-chunk on either side, and this will give the nib some extra flexibility, some elasticity, and lets those tines separate like it needs to in order to be a flexible nib. You'll also notice it comes to a pretty fine point there. It writes, I'd say, somewhere between a fine or a medium when you don't flex it, and then when you do put a little bit of pressure on it, it can get much wider. So let's see how this does on some paper. This is Moraman Nemosiny paper with a 5mm grid, and this here is our Pilot 912 FA nib. As you can see, with sort of everyday sort of writing, you will get a little bit of softness from this nib, and it will give you like a little bit of character. But let's see what you can do when you put a little bit of pressure on it. Here it is with no pressure applied, just doing some simple strokes. And you can see it is not going to give you line variation like a stub or an italic will. It will just give you a very nice kind of like fine medium line. But with a little bit of pressure applied, you can get quite a lot more line width and weight there. And also you can see it tapers to this nice point when I release the pressure off of it. And that's these nibs snapping back to where it ought to be, or I guess where it originally is, which is fairly fine. And this is a hallmark, I think, of a good flex nib, is that it does give you this snap back so that you can give yourself those very fine lines as you let go of the pressure, which is, I gather, what people want when they're doing flex nib writing. I am not really a flex nib artist or writer. I'm very casual. But man, just doing some little squiggly curly things. This nib is a lot of fun, and this doesn't take very much pressure to separate those tines and give you that nice broad line there, and it's very easy for it to come back to where it began, which is a very nice feature. Now, others are going to be able to do more work with this pen than I will, but I really enjoy being able to just put a little bit of pressure on it, and it goes ahead and just goes, well, here you go. Here's a wider line, Mike. So this is a really nice thing to do. Now, would I use this for everyday writing? Yeah, I think so. Even here with this just like little check mark, you see how it's much wider here and then like snaps back to a thin line here. I think after doing a bit more writing with this, I think I would probably use this on an everyday basis, although it's probably not going to be the one that I'm going to be using like all the time, because you are going to want to be a little bit more cognizant of the sort of weight and all that sort of thing that you put on it so as you don't damage it. But yeah, this is a very nice nib, and it does, I think, the best job of any modern flex nib of giving you wide lines and then snapping back to the tiny thin line there. So yeah, pretty darn nice. So find this wherever you can get a hold of it, I would say, and give this FA nib a try. I think it's kind of special and one of the better nibs in this lineup. Until next time, peace out.